Bollywood to Hollywood with Rao Rampilla. Today, a very special guest. His name is Gary Spolansky. Hey, Gary.
Hi, Rao. Nice to see you.
Welcome to Bollywood and the Hollywood Show.
Thank you.
So, how did you get that name, Spolansky? Where are you from?
Well, my ethnic origin is Russian. And
Were you born in Russia?
no, I'm second generation.
Ah,
My grandparents came over in the early 1900s, and my parents were born here, and of course I was. So I guess
So-
maybe I'm second generation here in the States.
so you were educated here.
Yes,
Did you
yes.
go to high school?
High school? Yes, I went to high school.
You told me you have an MBA.
Yes, I do. I have an MBA from Delphi University,
Oh,
and I spent 20 years in corporate finance
Wow.
in the accounting world.
this y'all got into more of this because you work in a corporate sector for so many years,
Well,
and you get sick and tired of it. And
actually, the way my life went, I should have been in psychology from day one.
why?
I have a natural inclination to it.
Why?
It's just who I am. I understand, I can empathize with people's experiences. I've seen a lot of life. I understand where we hold our issues, how we hold our issues, and I understand and know ways to short circuit the process so that we can actually release those blocked issues, whether they were created yesterday or early in childhood. And we can do it in a very accelerated fashion, particularly compared to standard psychology and practices.
Did you have problems growing up with family?
Well, everyone did, and sure. For me, I had issues of self-esteem, self-acceptance, which I find is the core of just about every problem. Virtually everybody does have that, and very few people understand what power is. People think power is manipulative and controlling, but it's not. True power comes from within. It comes from a sense of safety, a space where you can create intimacy, and more than that, you create the win-win scenario, however you wish to see that played out. The idea is that as we let go of our fears, as we let go of our concerns, our hurts and disappointments, we reclaim that part of ourselves that was lost. When we reclaim that part, we start to accept ourselves more. The greater we accept ourselves, the more we accept other people. It naturally flows. And when you accept yourself, you can be much more open and giving and loving than you can when you're still saying, I'm hurt and I'm protecting myself.
Is it your philosophy, or you borrowed it from somebody, someone else?
That's, you know something? It's a conglomeration. I mean, sure, you've read about that in many different books, spiritual texts, what have you, but I've seen that as a reality, and I've lived it as a reality, so I know it as a truth.
Did you ever think about if there is any connection between what you are doing and what you are trying to heal, and all the things all the people do in other cultures? Like
Every bit of it is interrelated. I am a shamanic and empathic healer and a Reiki master.
what is that?
Shamanic and empathic healing is a healing modality that has its roots in indigenous cultures around the world. Mayan, Native American, Peruvian, South American.
Oh,
But the form of healing that I do is rather unique because it has no tradition. This is something that developed within me over the course of my own development, spiritually, emotionally, psychologically. And in fact, when I started out in this field, I started out in Reiki. My introduction to spiritual healing, energetic healing.
why did you start with Reiki?
It was something that was simple, it was available, and a friend of mine had asked me to go to a Reiki class, and I told her, no, I don't want to go. And she had to ask me 4 separate times. After the 4th time I gave in, I went to the class, had no idea what I was in for, because I was really closed-minded. The master of that class made me the demonstration individual for the evening.
Huh.
Laid me out on a Reiki table and did the healing on me. And as she did, she came over my head, I felt nothing. Came over my shoulders, I felt nothing. And the reason was because I was tense and nervous, and I'm basically sitting there, lying there on the table, like this. But then she came over my heart, and without touching me, I felt an enormous pressure. I had no idea what that was, and she didn't really explain it to me. That night, I'm driving home. I'm on the parkway, listening to the radio, absolutely nothing interesting happening, and I just started laughing. And I just started laughing. I got absolutely giddy. And I said, what is this? And a couple of days later, I ran into the woman, and I asked her about it. And she explained, oh, what happened was when I came over your heart, there's a lot of blocked energy. And that blocked energy was what was opening up. So when you got giddy, you were actually feeling that energy release.
I see.
I see. I got interested. We talked some more, and I started learning the Reiki training. I took the first workshop.
So how did you get in from Reiki to shamanic and empathetic healer?
Well, the shamanic and empathic aspect actually developed through my psychotherapy training. I worked with a rather unique individual who was trained both in classic psychology, but worked with it from a prospect of yoga, tantra, and primarily emotional work, physical movement. As we worked, she taught me how to dialogue with the body, how to listen to the emotions, how to hear what the body was actually saying. In that process, I began to learn how to separate myself from my experiences so that I, in essence, became an observer. In the process of that, I learned how to let energies and emotions come through me while I was keeping my mind out of it. Little by little, I got more comfortable with it, and eventually I began to see that I could do this with my clients. So much so that it was too involved for me to explain in the middle of a healing. So what I would say to them is, you feel what you're feeling, and just allow that to come up. I'll add my energy to you, which is a shamanic aspect, while empathically I'm feeling where you're stuck, and together we're going to clear this out.
Can anyone see your energy communicating with the energy on TV?
In essence, yes. If you're subtle, if you can perceive those higher energies, yes, you can.
But can the audience see it?
The average person is not going to see it. What they are going to see is the method that I use when we do the healings later.
But the whomsoever you are healing would feel that.
Yes, yes.
So you both would communicate.
Right. There'll be communication before, possibly during, but definitely afterwards.
I remember I studied yoga, and I experimented with this Russian mesmerism. They have a way of touching some animals in certain points, and they go into a kind of trance. So I found a relationship between transcendental meditation and the mesmerism. I thought it is basically the same subconscious brain. Does it have anything to do with your...
Not in that respect, no. The energies that do come through me are palpable. You can feel them. The shamanic and empathic aspect is me personally. The Reiki energy and other energies that I've been trained in, including magnified, essentia healing, Arcturian energies, and many others, come through me naturally. And so it's not just my own energy.
So what do you mean by Arcturian energy?
Beings of the star system Arcturus are very high dimensional beings, and they have worked with me to help bring a higher level of healing to the individuals that I assist.
Can we, instead of we talking to each other, can we demonstrate to the audience what is it like to be treated and healed? And
we can. Before we go there, I'd like to just talk a little bit about what it works on and perhaps even relate a story or two so we can give an idea of what we're talking about. I've been doing this for the past 15 years. And
15 years?
15.
And how long did you practice in corporate sector?
20.
Okay.
So I'm not as young as I used to be, but it's working. The uniqueness of this approach is that I'm doing things that I never dreamed I could do, and I don't have any formal training in the form of medical knowledge. But I've worked with everything from simple aches and pains, stress, tension, anxiety, back pain, to trauma, emotional depression, insomnia.
So are you free from all those things?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
One of the nice benefits of this healing work is that, and it's true basically in anything that you're doing in this fashion, when you give a healing, you get a healing. And I come...
so they don't take your energy, you just lose energy, no?
No, there's no loss of
Increases
it.
your potential.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I do get energized as I'm giving this healing, which allows me to continue, because if not, then it could be very difficult. Additionally, one of the things you need to know in order to do this is how not to take other people's energy onto you. And that's something I've become very adept at.
That's great.
Yes, so it makes a big difference. To give you a little idea of what we're talking about here, I gave a presentation a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm. Where?
This was at TRS here in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
And a young lady came, and I asked her to be part of the demonstration. And she told me she had a lot of trauma locked up in her back. She had been doing a lot of work, yoga and related activities, energetic healing, and she had made some progress, but it wasn't there. In the, I think it was about 2-3 minutes of healing work I did on her, I felt something give way. When we completed the healing, she was amazed. Her back was totally pain-free.
Wow.
And one of the interesting things about back pain is when there's no organic cause, and that means no disc problems such as bulging, deteriorating, herniated discs, when there is no true physical problem, invariably it's emotional issues, emotional traumas. Release the emotional trauma, the physical pain recedes. And I've seen this time and time again. It's quite amazing.
So it doesn't work with the people that has disc problem or...
It does work with them, but it's not as quick and it's not as efficient. And the reason is because the physical structure of the body has been altered, so energy is going to get blocked periodically. But over a little bit longer period of time, it will be quite beneficial. This also works on all levels, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Because of that, it allows me to work with so many different kinds of issues and concerns. As I mentioned, whether it's aches and pains, stress and anxiety, emotional depression, post-surgical trauma or pre-surgical trauma, whatever it is, all I ever ask of anybody is an openness. You don't have to believe in what I do. You could be a skeptic, and I'm fine with that, as long as you have an open mind. And from there, everything can work. Everything can heal.
Okay, well, please heal somebody.
Okay, I guess we'll do that. Okay, what we'll do is let's bring the chair forward. We'll ask Paul to join us.
Okay, we have Paul Pirag.
But first I'll ask you, do you have any aches or pains, tensions, stress, anything going on that it would help me to know about?
You know, happily, I don't have a specific identifiable problem, I'm glad to say. I've had an irregular health history, spiritually and physically. Mm-hmm. I certainly would like to improve my condition.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do...
Thanks.
I'm going to start from behind you. My hands are going to start over your head. And I'm going to be moving the energy in your aura, in your energetic bodies. And as I do, you may feel vibration, you may feel warmth, you may feel tingling, or other sensations like that. Additionally, as I'm working, I will be vocalizing at times. I may grunt, I may breathe rapidly, I may cough. What I want you to know is all that is your energies, wherever they may be blocked, opening up, and I'm basically feeling where you're blocked, and I'm taking it onto me and releasing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this healing, and then afterwards I'm going to ask you what you thought about it, what you felt. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Should I have my eyes open or closed, would you recommend?
I would like you to make yourself comfortable. If you don't mind closing your eyes, that'd
I'm
be
happy to
terrific.
do that, thank you.
Great. Okay, Paul. Can you tell us what you felt from that?
Quite a lot,
Yeah.
I have to say. It was quite an experience from the very first instance. It's a very good experience, I have to say. I felt a certain warmth immediately. So immediately there was an internal connection. I felt a remarkable internal calm, which was in a sense a physical calm, like a calmer feeling throughout. I had a kind of a color experience throughout, and immediately with my eyes closed, I saw pink. Then it shifted from that pink. All the coloring was very light in tone, and then it shifted to a kind of very light orange, brownish orange, but very light. At a few moments, there was like for 1 second, there was a blue, dark blue, and this color experience, which were remarkable colors, because I can say I've never closed my eyes and had those colors specifically, or nor do I normally have colors in that way that I did. Was a remarkable experience. So I found it a very internally calming experience. While I heard some sounds on your part, it was striking because on my part, I was feeling ease and calm and quiet.
And the interesting thing is the sounds were actually the blocked up energies, the residual tension and frustration that different parts of your body were experiencing. When I started over your head, I could feel it initially. A little bit later in the healing, over the heart, the back of the heart, the shoulders. Each individual sound was that energy that the body itself wanted to express that we're not familiar with expressing. The body speaks in symbols. The symbols are sensations. And when you give voice to the symbols, these are the sounds that are emitted. But what I'm actually doing is, by giving voice to that, I'm actually creating a vent, a way for your body to release those pressures, those frustrations, those tensions, and much more. So my growling, my noise, my grunting was actually the releasing of the pent-up energies in you.
I believe it will, because this internal calm, which is an improvement in my condition, which I believe I have lived with tensions and stresses. I can see that you may have been taking them because I was receiving the counterpart, which is an internal calm, which is greater than I'd previously experienced. And I appreciate it, because I appreciate it's very relieving.
Well, I appreciate that too, and I appreciate that you were a part of this, because this is a great way to demonstrate how this works. And just for the audience's understanding, this is the first time you and I have met.
Absolutely.
I don't know you before this, and I'm thrilled to be able to offer this opportunity and for you to give me such clean and clear feedback. So thank you, Paul.
And I appreciate the healing that I feel very benefited by. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Do you have a question about what I did?
Yes, because it sounded like as if it was that Native American chanting and dancing. That kind of stuff, you know?
And you're hitting a very important point. As I said before, when I was explaining this, there is I do not come from a tradition. I was not trained by shamans. This is very unique to me. I don't know this for a fact, but I may be one of the very few that work in this particular way here in New York City. If I am, that's wonderful. If I'm not, that's okay.
So
but the thing about it is that a lot of what I do is what I'm going to term natural shamanism. The sounds come through me spontaneously. There are times when I'll do vocalizations, toning it's sometimes referred to, where I'll ride up and down various frequencies which cause energetic shifts in the individuals I'm working with.
It's like a magnet has positive and negative, and so it has, when positive and negative touches, it reacts. So there is an ionic process going on, like a symbiosis or something.
You could think of it that way. You could also consider it as an oscilloscope. You have shorter wavelengths, which relate to one set of frequencies, longer wavelengths, which relate to other frequencies, and then the whole range in between.
So what the shorter one relate to?
The shorter ones, I believe, my physics may be a little off here, I believe the shorter wavelengths are the higher pitched energies, and the longer wavelengths are the lower pitched.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I wasn't trained in engineering, so I'm not 100% there, but...
Well, I'm an actor. I used to be a lawyer, but I'm an actor now. Mm-hmm. Could actors be healed?
Of course.
Well, the theater is a therapy, but actors have their own emotional issues and problems.
I absolutely agree, and I think this would be dynamic for actors. because not only preparing an actor for a role, not only could I say before the performance, soothe and calm the actor enough so they could be very present on stage, but as you correctly noted, not just for actors, but for anybody, our everyday fears of anxieties, of uncertainties, of loss, hurt, pain, disappointment, sadness, heartache, regrets, all this can be healed and released, and in a much more aggressive and accelerated fashion than you might imagine.
So if anyone is interested in getting a healing from you,
Yes.
how could they reach you?
They could reach me by phone.
Okay. What's the number?
It's 516-640-0397.
What is that number again?
516-640-0397.
You got it?
Or you could reach me by email,
Okay.
which is greikimaster@aol.com, or my website, myreikicenter.com.
So you have a center?
Yes, I have two locations. Here in Manhattan, I work out at TRS,
Okay.
and on Long Island.
What is TRS?
TRS is a professional suite for healers.
Oh, okay.
And on Long Island, I have a private office in Port Washington. And all that I'm really interested in is helping you release the thoughts, the fears, the issues, the experiences, the pains that keep you from being all you can be. And I've had a great deal of success. I hope that the people watching can have a little bit of an idea of what I do. And I'd be very happy to talk to anybody who's interested to learn more.
Well, thank you, Gary.
My pleasure, Raz.
Nice to have you on my show.